I wanted to make a movie which asks you a question that everyone can understand. It's like, what if tomorrow meals show you something that you're not supposed to see? What, like tomorrow meals make you do stuff that you're not supposed to do? And what if your reflection become on his own? And, starting on that point, I really create a story which around the character of Ben Carson, Kiefer Sutherland.
The character I play is a guy who's really he's very hopeful at this stage, but he's gone through a very hard time. He was a police officer who was relieved of duty for a questionable shooting. As a result, his life kind of started falling apart. His marriage started to fail. He has 2 children. He's living with his sister. But in the first step to try and getting his life back together, he accepts that he's not going to be reinstated as a police officer. He goes and gets a job as a security guard at an abandoned department store that was burned in a fire. And unfortunately, this job takes his life into an unbelievably bad turn, and the story really begins there. And the story really exists that there is this thing happening on the other side of mirrors, on this different plane of existence.
I mean, honestly, I've read so many scripts. I've read a lot of horror movies, and there's not a lot of great scripts, period. And Mirrors was so well written and such a unique topic about mirrors. I mean, you think about it, it's like Jaws. You think about going in the ocean now and you're like, oh my God, am I going to get bitten by a shark? With mirrors, it's like you look in your reflection, many times throughout the day and you don't think twice about it. And this is definitely kind of weighing on your subconscious now that, what if something is looking back at you or if something happens with your reflection in the mirror?
I received a script that was that Korean movie, and I didn't like the story, but I like the concept of the mirrors because it's something so universal that everyone can understand. So I wanted to use that and create a movie that's going to be so scary about mirrors that when you saw the movie, the fear stay with you. And when you get back home, and the next morning when you look at yourself in the mirrors, you just freak out not because of yourself, I hope, but just because it's going to be an open invitation to something that you don't know again, like something dark that can lay behind the mirrors, that can come out of the mirrors and, get you.
The horror films that I really loved growing up ranged from everything from a film my father made called Don't Look Now with Nicholas Roeg. Julie Christie also starred. It was just one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. The Omen, The Exorcist, The Changeling, even Jaws. I mean, anything that's going to scare people out of the ocean for an entire summer, that qualifies to me as a horror film. And the thing that separates those films from what I would call a slasher film, which I think are cool too in their own way, but a great horror film to me has to be really character driven, and you have to be invested in those characters. And so it's really taking a drama or a thriller, that genre, and merging it with an unbelievably frightening, horrific context.
That jaw-dropping scene is amazing.
I know, it was like, you know what, this is going to be a scene in the movie that's going to stick out and be really crazy and fun to shoot, and it was like really fun from my perspective, like going to the special effects house and getting my head cast and having a prosthetic jaw put on and having to rip it off, and filming in Romania, and we filmed in that whole bathroom scene, and just having sort of the quintessential death scene in a film just seemed like a fun experience.
Every time you're making a movie, there is one scene or a couple scenes that are really important for you and that you want to see, and that's the reason why you want to make that movie. And the jaw ripping scene or the jaw dropping or whatever we call that was like the element, and I have to convince the studio and all the producers and everyone to let me do that scene because it was so crazy, so insane that they were really freaking out that the audience will run away off the theater when they see that because it's so shocking and so brutal. But I was sure that me as an audience member, that it was exactly what I needed to be, wow, shocked and blown away, and really definitely put inside the mirrors and have the fear staying with me long time after the movie is over.